నమస్కారం సార్.
నమస్కారం అండి. కులాసనా? హలో, డూ యూ హియర్ మీ?
సార్
వినిపిస్తుందా?
వినిపిస్తుంది సార్, వినిపిస్తుంది.
ఓకే. నమో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. Today is the 86th webinar in the series of topics connected with the Sanatana Dharma, being hosted by Veda Samskruti Samiti. Today our speaker is Ram Mohan N. He will be speaking on learnings and earnings from Bhagawad Gita. First we will start with Prarthana, then we will request him to take over the stage. I request our Vice President Sanatana Dharma, Dr. Vishalakshi Garu, to do Prarthana for all of us.
शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। ओम प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु। ओम श्री महासरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान्मा प्रमदः मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्य देवो भव अतिथि देवो भव। ओम असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम सदाशिव समारंभां व्यासशंकर मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरु परम्पराम्। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste.
ధన్యవాదములండి విశాలాక్షి గారు. We all know Ram Mohan Garu. He has been very active in Veda Samskruti Samiti activities, and also he has been an active participant in our Sanatana Dharma course. Now he will be talking about the learnings and earnings from Bhagavad Gita. And he was the chief manager of Indian Bank, and then retired from there. So I request him to start. Firstly, I welcome him for this webinar, and request him to start his talk. Please, sir.
Thank you, Babu Garu, for your nice introduction. Welcome. As Babu introduced, I am Ram Mohan N, Chief Manager, Indian Bank. Not only when there is a need for me to introduce myself, I want to put two things. One is Ram Mohan N, retired Chief Manager, Indian Bank. Number two, set not out. With the grace of the God, with the grace of Almighty, even I am still batting in the cricket long age. At the age of, I am running 70 now. This point, why I stress is that right from when the mother conceives us, right from our stage in there is no certainty of life. Anybody, any being, more particularly we are concerned about the human life being here. Human beings may perish. This question also struck me. Why, when normally the age for a human life is 100 years. Chiranjeeva, we say Shatayu, or the ring of it, we do Pada Namaskara or Hasta Namaskara. If you when we elders' feet, that is a Pada Namaskara. When the change in the generations, in the change in the value system in modern days, in such cultures, with the changing value systems, people hesitate, feel shy, do not approve touching somebody's feet. But in the Sanatana Dharma, whenever the people are ripe in age, not even ripe, if you are elder to you, are more knowledgeable, irrespective of age, they are a people, I mean, be fit to be hand folding, to do hand folding to them, asking their feet even. This is one the thing relating to Sanatana Dharma, Sanskaras, and the changing value systems from time to time and across generations. Change is inevitable in the world, but of late, maybe in the last days, the change has been very faster, which we should take note of. Then, the can I had given for today's presentation is I am in the habit of making my own private acronyms, that is the short form. So I gave a title, BG leaf, like sea leaf or some other leaf of any particular tree. I say BG leaf. Leaf, we all know the leaf of any plant. Which plant, which tree? BG, the tree of Bhagawad Gita, and the leaves of it. How many leaves it is having in terms of chapters? 18 chapters are there in Bhagawad Gita. That way we can think 18 leaves. And in each leaf, that is in each adhyaya or chapter in English, there is a very good content. I made the start of LEAFP, that is learning and earnings of Bhagavad Gita. What is the difference between learning and earning? If we just prefix L to the word earn, we get learn. There are only three important phases in life, according to my own understanding. One is the phase of education. According to Sanatana Dharma, after the stage of Upanayinam, which normally occurs at the age of Garbhashtamam, that is when the boy is 7 years, there is Upana Samsara for girls. And ultimately, we speak of also this Shoda Samskaras across the life, that is another, and one is Samskara, till the time of Upanayana, that is Garbhashtamam, up to 7 years, the child has a little of freedom, free lifestyle, we can say, when we invoke the word lifestyle. So he's a little carefree. But with the Upanayana, he becomes eligible to enter to the studentship. Olden days, we used to send to Guru Mas. But in the present context, what is that? Parents made registration of their baby in the womb itself for a prestigious schools across the world, or at least across the country, to get admission. That is the level of competition. With increased competition, normally humans, as humans, we undergo strain, stress, and pressure inevitably. In olden days, there used to be large families. In each family, on an average, even in my generation, in the sense when I was a child, during that time, any family, any couple, you used to have 6 to 7 members on an average, telling a minimum of 4 to 5 at least. Out of 6, 7, one of used to be in the very either womb or in infant death. So because of the various reasons, medical and non-medical, whatever, and some used at least 4 to 5 used to survive. This was the thing. Olden days, there was no artificial family planning. Family was not there. Children are there, and people never thought of stopping a childbirth. People used to believe. Belief is an important aspect of human life. Trust, belief, doubt, bias. These are very critical words. And they are highly individualized in the system. These are very specific to each of the individuals. The kind of level of in any subject or a person, the belief, there is a little difference between the trust and the belief. And then the doubt, samshayatma. In Bhagawad Gita, the word samshaya is used, that is the doubt. And bias. Bias again, positive bias and negative bias. As humans, we have certain amount of bias towards any person, number one, or towards any subject matter, or toward any material, object or material. So I don't think there is a human being without any qualities. Doubting nature, samshayatma, and bias, we say pakshapata. You take a side, either or against on anything. So we lack neutrality. That is what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita as sthita and samatva. So that is no bias. You see all things very equally. That is the samatva buddhi. The 3 phases of in life, what I was referring to is that one is the education. In that context, the highest education qualification academically is PhD or PDF, postdoctoral fellow. A continuing education from school to college to university may end up anywhere from 24 to 30 years of age, depending upon the thirst and hunger for the knowledge by the once this education phase completes, Why people will go higher education? If we take the example of India, Indian, it's because the situations and the contextual backgrounds are different from country to country. In our country, there's a lot of school dropouts. And in the same platform forum, earlier we had a talk on national education policy 2020. I made a presentation about it. So back. Whatever is the weather policy, ultimately the subject to be known is the same in the when it is an art form. In science, we mentioned the additions and the latest knowledge we possess in science. Art is almost constant, may some changes into it. Then what knowledge we should possess? The current and the latest knowledge we should possess, that is the thing. Even if you don't possess knowledge, at least one should be capable of implementing, utilizing, and reaping the benefit of the knowledge found by colleague human beings in the form of invention and other things. So school dropouts, some based on socio-economic, cultural background of the family, there's a lot of child labor in the country, despite there being a poor parents feel that when the boy enters in teenage, let him also a little for the family, that is the concept. Or whatever it is. So this is very much rampant, mostly in rural areas. What I said, the PhD or PDF may be at the most 5 to 10% to reach that position. Then why better education? Better education, I link it to learning from the leaf for better earning. When you are well qualified, more knowledgeable, you get a better job. Why job? You can be an entrepreneur of your own, do your own business. Even for that, you require learning, you require knowledge. Then I have to invent a word here, risk. Many people do not take risk. Very few people take risk. Those who take risk, they start their own venture, their own job, and become entrepreneurs. Again, they are maybe 5 to 10 to 15%. Many people seek a job, want a regular monthly income, and do not want to risk. This will be taken by the job giver, the employer. I do whatever you say, and you give me whatever you want. That is the thing, because the pay scales are defined by the employer, not the employee. Of course, upplay in the private sector, there is a scope for the, based on the potential, the talent of the employee, he may demand, unless you pay this much. Latest and the current knowledge in the chosen hold that. So why better earning? Learning is for earning. Earning is for a better spouse availability, spouse seeking. Particularly when they see a boy to be selected as her would-be husband, they backgrounds and of which this learning and earning is also important. So learning is again two types. One is a continuous learning up to the level of university, one thing. Thereafter, it is lifelong learning in a what you call in the evening college, or we say in continuous learning through distance education, whatever it is not. Then WASK, WASKE. This is again acronym I use. Knowledge, attitude, vision. We require knowledge, but to utilize the knowledge in a right way. When one acquires knowledge, we use it in a wrong way or a right way. Right to wrong, these are the keywords even in Bhagawad Gita. in one part, we can equate way. And a good thing is a punya. First of all, you need to have knowledge, and you have to have sabbuddhi, wisdom, to use the knowledge in the right manner. And you need to have a attitude. Each person is having his attitude. In the modern language, you use the word of SWOT analysis, SWOT. I do not know how many of you who are participating here made any time their own SWOT analysis, which stands for strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat, of which strength and weaknesses are internal to a human being. Weakness we can compare to karma. When you have a particular thing you want, it is a sort of karma, it's a weakness. It is not in Bhakti, there is a definition of three gunas, triguna, or English we can say, you can use the word tri, T-R-I. And a person who crosses the trigunatmakata, sthita pragnatva. We also have a sthita pragna to some extent or other, but the level within the range, across the range of sthita pragna, we stand nowhere. In a majority possession of any quality, unless you cross 50%, we can't say minimum, I am telling. Otherwise, should be that is a certain examination, the minimum qualifying mark is 50 itself. And in certain examination, professional examinations, the minimum itself is 60. Maybe little more also. So the three phases for life: learning, for better earning to have a better life partner, not business partner, life partner. The life goes like this. And then the point is that without any formal learning or earning, based on your fortune, fate, destiny, you get your counterpart in life. Taking precautions to be a matching. In English, parents say we are going to see a match for my son or for my daughter. And ultimately, most of the time, which only we realize after the marriage is over. But according to Sanatana Dharma or any common sense dharma, I am more keen. I give a lot of emphasis on common sense. If we have the right common sense, it becomes easy to understand any difficult proposition, difficult statement, hypothesis also. But what is our level of common sense? A question which we have to ourselves and seek an answer for it. There is any state to it, but roughly if you take on a 0 to 10 scale, if your level of common sense is by your own will, is it 4 or 5, you need to take to a higher level. This is another thing. Then there are certain things which we need to have only once for lifetime, only once in their lifetime. Marriage is one such thing. Then whom should we follow? Adarsha Purusha. We say role model. Modern voice is breaking, sir. Maybe I do not know. Let me once check my setting. 1 minute.
సార్ మీది మధ్యలో బ్రేక్ అవుతోంది, అక్కడక్కడ బ్రేక్ అవుతోందండి వాయిస్.
అదే అమ్మా నేను చూస్తున్నాను. అదే ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ చెకింగ్. ఐ విల్ ఆల్సో ఆన్ మై డేటా కూడా ఆన్ చేస్తాను. వైఫైలో ఏదైనా ప్రాబ్లం ఉందేమో, ఒక్క నిమిషం. Despite that, we are unable to use the product to its fullest advantage. You take any mobile, which we are using for the Zoom purpose now. Do all of us know all the 100% feature that a smartphone you bought provides? Absolutely not. Maybe certain essential features of what we use and what are useful to us, we pay attention to that only and know that alone. Similarly, a human being is also not much aware of the purpose of human life. Basically, we need to put a question to ourselves to know what is the purpose of human life, and accordingly we have to conduct our life. As we use a product, whenever we get it out, go to the product manual. Similarly, there should be a manual for the human life, how to deal with the human life, how to conduct our life. And we all know, I am of the opinion that Bhagavad Gita is one such sacred book in the form of a life manual. Whenever you get a doubt, beyond your common sense, exercising your common sense and other things and controlling your senses in whatever way, into the whatever extent you can, after doing that also, if you are still left with any samshaya, we need to go to refer the Bhagavad Gita. And as far as my acquaintance, my familiarity with the Bhagavad Gita is concerned, in the last 5 to 6 months, I did a program for 18 days on Bhagavad Gita, 1 hour, 1 to 1 hour duration in the morning for an organization called Impact, Hyderabad-based organization, IMPACT in short. Impact, the name of the organization itself is Impact, not short or full. That name is like that. 18 days, daily 3 to 4 speakers on a duration of 20 minutes each. And I was a coordinator for that program. So 18 into 354, and mostly little more number, around 60 people spoke on it, and they covered all the 18 chapters. And I was preparing on the daily basis, daily 1 chapter. It was like that. I was preparing to supplement, to support, to fill the gap. In any case, if any speaker on that particular chapter is not missing anything, I was simultaneously covering, preparing all the chapters. This happened in the phase 1 of it. After a few months break, for the same organization, I did as a coordinator, where again the same 18 chapters, but this times the mode is different. 1 chapter, one speaker for full 1 hour, 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes, evening 6 to 8, it was going on. And again, I prepared, I read through, gone through all the chapters. This went for 18 days. With this, I had developed little more interest in Bhagavad Gita and wanted to reach the nitty-gritty of it with more emphasis on it. More than that of a Parayana Grantha, Shloka Patana, Kanthasthīkarana, apart from all these things, these are welcome, no doubt on it, but still, how to make use of it in our day-to-day proceedings of human life, how we can invoke the sayings that are given in the Gita. From that point, I am still, I developed a little more taste into it and proceeding with the Gita. Now, when I enter the main part of my presentation, I divide it into some 2-3 parts, small parts. One is to remember all the 18 chapters in one go. I made a small acronym, badge. The badge spelling is BADGE, but I omitted E, BADG, badge, that much. Then KMP, simply KMP. Then SRT. SRT stands from Bhagavad Gita language, Sattva, Rajo, Tama, Gunas. SRT. And then YV. Letters, alphabets YV, words WHYY, WEV. So there are 12 alphabets, BADG, KMT, SRT, YV. If you remember these 12 letters, we can construct all the names of the chapters, 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. This is step 1. I just wanted to share with you. But anyway, each person is having their own ways of remembering anything, winding and unwinding. In computer space, jipping and unjipping. You can follow your own method. But I thought this is a better thing. Then, in the second phase of the presentation, a small thinking, a small summation of what is told in that particular chapter and what is the context. We all know that Bhagavad Gita is told by Krishna to Arjuna in the backdrop of Kurukshetra Mahasangramam. Mahasangramam means the great war. To my knowledge, historically, prehistoric. Mahabharata is a prehistoric. Historically, Kalinga was the a very major war after Mahabharata, where Ashoka changed his way of thinking about the life, and he adopted Buddhism and all. So with the Yuddha and Yuddha Parinama also, there could be some better changes and may be useful to the humanity. Here one question comes that the God as a creator, the Almighty, God, when we say God of gods, in Indian tradition we say 33 crores of gods, and there is a misrepresentation, misunderstanding of it. Koti means Varga, means a group. 33 groups of gods, not physically, numerically 33 crores. And there cannot be 33 crores also. But again, if you look into in a deeper sense, the animal-human bondage, animal-human relationship was much stronger in the earlier days. Each of the gods, the sub-gods, after Almighty, we have a Adhisthana Devata for each kind of human activity. I am not going into much details of it. And each god or goddess, they have their own, these days what we say vehicle. They had an animal as their carrier on the back of which they used to travel. So that is the prana koti equality, or something which is say, or the bond or the relation that the human being and the animals had in those days. So this is one thing what we can take note of it. Many things we do not observe in life. In life, we need to be a keen observer. That is the first step. And out of the observations we make, whatever we feel pertinent to us, according to our swabhava, swadharma, swabhava. Swadharma is connected to swabhava, means your own bhavamu or your own expression, your own being, your own thought, or your own self. Whatever way you, whatever the level of deeper level you can go, that is the one thing. That is why in Bhagavad Gita it is said that Swadharma, even it is a little bad in you, you adopt it rather than going after a Paradharma which is good. The essence of this is that it is not that easy to shed the Swadharma. We have to understand by that. At the same time, according to the modern context, if any other person is having a good thing, there is nothing wrong in adopting it. But you need to customize it just like that, you cannot adopt. So observing, then whatever is important, you adopt it. And whatever is you adopt, you need to customize the way it suits you. Here we say we are in the form of the liquid. And the liquid takes the container into which it is put. In the same way, if you are having some flexibility, adaptability, all people will not have in the same range that levels. If we have, we will be little more comfortable to that extent. So I am back at the proposition what I was pondering to myself, that why the Almighty, the superior God, super God, Paramatma, has not created this world, these human beings or life beings, that they are all having a sukha life, comfortable life, no dukkha at any point of time. You can also answer, either in the chat box or later after my presentation over during the question answer session. Also, we can have a debate on it as a hypothesis or as a proposition why God has not done this. To my understanding, what I got is that Leela Manasudu Bhagwan, entire this world and the human beings, life beings, everything is a little finger play for the God. And he is playing with us and he is enjoying on one side. While on the other side, it is a very serious thing for us to lead our lives. For him, it is not so. In a game, there is a defeat, there is a win, and there is some trouble also in playing the game. Whatever the physical games also, sports if we take, table tennis, Gyana or whatever, we need to undergo a sort of physical and mental strain. Even if we are winning or losing the game, there is only a very subtle little difference between the winner and the loser. Both of them contribute, both of them work hard. Ultimately, because there cannot be two winners, one has to lose. That is why we, what you call, honor him also by the word, using the word runner after winner. Whatever. I will come back to this chapter-wise little observation of me, little finding, little chant what I get it. Arjuna Vishada Yogamu is the first chapter. Vishadamu is a mood. We all human beings live in only a mood. We cannot be eternally. Eternal is a different question. I again use an acronym here: PET, PET, T for temporary, P for permanent, E for eternal. In fact, there is nothing like permanent. Everything is temporary or a bit long temporary. Either a short temporary or a long temporary. Thereafter, it is only straight eternal. Sun is eternal. This earth is eternal. Panchabhutas eternal. Human beings' everyday life is temporary, and everyday life. Today morning to tomorrow morning. Night we retire to bed. Sun also retires in the evening. Suryastamayamu. But he is sure to return now. Next day morning, we human beings, we are not sure. Unless there is an extension of one more day by the Almighty. So Suryadamu, after Suryastamam, Suryodaya is sure, but it is uncertain in the case of any human being, a life being, and particularly human being. We live in moods, so there cannot be all the time dukkha or all the time sukha. It comes in retortion, but still, why some people? Another question I pondered to myself. You can also think. Why some people have more dukkha in comparison to others? Why some people have more sukha in comparison to others? That is why, to address this question, the point what is propagated is that you need to be a sthita prajna and you should be above this trigunatita. Sattva, rajo, guna, these are the gunas. This sukha dukkha tita, one is trigunatita and ragadvesha atita, ragadvesha atita. Raga is an attachment, dvesha is a detachment. I mean, like and dislike. We need to like or dislike in the same way, and the equidistant we need to maintain. We need to be in a neutral status, that we say sthita prajna. When you are in a sthita prajna, which is a state very difficult to attain but not impossible, at the same time, dukkha will also not drag you, make you dukkhita. Sukha also will not make you feel so sukha, because you enjoy, you observe the same in the same thing. If you go a step further, you never take a notice of these things. You once you reach that state, whether sukha, dukkha, it is all the same to one. So this is a life is a game. Play it carefully, tactfully, skillfully, with dharma baddhata. Dharma baddha jivanamu. That's what I acronym DBJ. Dharma baddha jivatamu, and JNB. Nyaya baddha jivitamu. We need to follow and dharma and nyaya in life. what is the difference between dharma and nyaya? Is a question we can put. Dharma is superior to nyaya. When you follow dharma, nyaya is covered in that. But if you simply follow nyaya, dharma may not be covered in it. Most of the time, it will not be covered. So the higher pedestal is dharma, and the lower pedestal is nyaya. Coming back to Arjuna Vishada Yogamu, Vishada no one can avoid. But what brings to Vishada to one person may not cause Vishada to the other person. On the contrary, it may give him enjoyment also. Then Arjuna got Vishada because he was unprepared for the event. Theoretically, he was prepared because it was a resolution, what we say minutes of the meeting these days in the management jargon. When a decision is taken, when the proceedings are done. In the meeting with the Pandavas, as Krishna is the mentor, advisor, and well-wisher, whatnot, it was resolved among the Pandavas that since the Sandhi did not materialize, despite 2-3 rounds of Sandhi, Sanjay Rayabaramu and other Rayabaras, Krishna Rayabaramu, with all these things failed. So they unanimously thought that they would fight the battle. And who is the most key person, according to us, that the Pandavas were forced to fight the battle? It is Draupadi. Nari Shakti, they can relate it that way. Women normally do not get ferocious. If they attain that level, it is the end of it. But anyway, for Mahabharata Kurukshetra Sangama, there are various other background things told that Shiva slapped Brahma. In some context, some of you must be knowing it, and slapped in such a way that one of the 4 faces of the Brahma stuck to the palm of the Shiva, and it was not getting rid of it. And after a long this Papa sin, what the Shiva did by slapping the Brahma, it said that I want a bali. This is a belief system. What is the bali? I want so many lives. So it was promised that will be met in the Kurukshetra Sangrama. Here we have to invoke one more thing, one more aspect. Trikalajnata. There are certain people, past we all know. Based on the efficiency of memory, we remember all the past. It's a memory-based thing, nothing great in it. But all of you can check for yourself. From what age of your childhood you carry the memories? Whether 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And how many of them you carry is another thing. Not all 24/7 we don't carry. Only such events, such incidents which have impacted or influenced, only such occasions we remember in life. And when we go to Sanatana times, Sanatana means there are 2 meanings according to me. One is ancient, other is eternal. Prahalada had a memory right from the womb in his mother. When he was staying in the womb of Lilavati, he had the memory, and he was repeating the shlokas or the bhajans what the Narada recited to him. Narada was reciting externally, and Prahalada was responding to it internally. Then we have in Mahabharata times about this Abhimanyu, who was listening to the warfare skills when Arjuna was chatting with Abhimanyu's mother, Subhadra. And Krishna, being an avatar, in human beings, he also took a human birth, being a Paramatma also. We have 2 other important words in Bhagavad Gita. Karana Janmalu, some are Karana Janmalu. They are born with a purpose. Others are Nimitra Matrulu. That is at a lower level. Just you are a scapegoat, or you are a springboard, or you are a stepping stone for others to perform. You have to only give a support to their feet or hand, whatever it is. So Krishna was a Karna Janmadu, and others people cannot equal to him. Even if we do not believe in the avatar and other things also, at least in our modern days, we see that all human beings are not having the equal capabilities. Some people have extraordinary capabilities, while many of the people are having a normal capabilities. Why this is happening? We have to ponder over this. So as far as Krishna is concerned, he was a strategist. He was the greatest person of his time, which he has demonstrated right from his childhood by doing wonders, which no other person, which no other ordinary human being. I call it HOB, HAB, ordinary. I don't follow the sequence in my acronyms. Ordinary, HAB, ordinary human beings. He was doing that way. So he was a Karana Janma, not only Karana Janma, many people are, at least few people are Karana Janma. He's much above that. He's a state incarnation of the superior God itself. The superior God, the Almighty, with the help of the Prakriti on one side, assisted by one side, and Maya on the other side, and with the Prakriti creating with this infrastructure in the form of the Panchavutas, it has become for a human being to be comfortable with his life and to give a company, solace, and whatnot. God has created two genders, not unigender. Had the God wanted, he would have created unigender, even with the unigender, to give a scope for the what you call to take the further births ahead. I mean, to create offspring, even from unigender, he could have provided a system. But again, we can ponder over this, that why these two genders are created. Because the one finds the interest on the other, that way life will be enjoyable. Despite all these things also, there are certain very, very few percentage people still who commit suicide for whatever reasons they have. It's a matter of psychology, sociology, or whatever. And we can never know the heart of the other person, what he is feeling. We can never know that. We can only pursue, even if the advanced scientific tools and the psychometric tools, whatever we have, we can only pursue. Maybe the percentage of the perception may be more, which can never be 100% to reality what the person thinks inside. This is again a defense mechanism provided by the nature and Almighty, because we have thousands of ugly thoughts in it against the other person, our counterparts, and if they come to know that, there will be a world war on a daily basis. So we need to understand that what we are provided with the God in us, the capabilities and whatever the otherwise, and with the given this thing, how we should conduct our life very peacefully, very comfortably, not only for us, but to the others also. Coming back to this, Bhagavad Gita is a very vast subject, very in-depth, where there's a 1 hour, 1 hour may not be sufficient at all. It does not mean that we can have more time. Samaya Palana is a very important thing. Within the time, whatever is given, we should try to do justice. So Vishadam is a mode I was telling. Arjuna had a Vishadamu. Theoretically, though, a resolution was made to fight the war, when he enters the scene, that is the battleground, he had a little dilemma. Though he fought many wars prior to that and won several wars, including a war with the Shiva that is mentioned in the Kirata book. Shiva appears in the form of a Kirataka, and the fight over a boar, a forest pig, whatever that story, most of you must be knowing. We can draw a parallel in the modern days that a doctor who operates on various bodies, when it comes to operate on his spouse or a child, probably he gives it to the other doctor, he will not do himself. Similarly, when a doctor has any particular ailment, normally he will not prescribe the medicine for himself, but he will ask his co-doctor, co-professional to prescribe it. From the banking experience in banks, though we pass checks for various customers, we are not supposed to pass our own check. This is again a invocation of the conflict of interest, samshayatmakata. Samshayam, there is a balance is not there in the account. I need the money. There is 10,000 balance. I write a check 20,000. I can pass. I have a passing power. That is why one cannot be in. I mean, court language we say one cannot be a judge of his own judgment. in his own case, he cannot be the jet. Anyway, so Arjuna has this Vishada. What yesterday I was given to understand that the Bhishma was at the age of 1,000 years when the battle was being fought, Kurukshetra, Mahasangram. That we can accept it to some extent that he is having a Svecha Marana Vara by his father, Shantana, that he can die whenever he wants. Yama cannot come and give summons to him and take him away without the consent of the Bhishma. That is a known story. And Bhishma is also famous for a Pratigya. We say Bhishma Pratigya. Those days, Pratigyas were made making Panchabhutas as a Sakshi, not like making Bhagawad Gita, making a false promise, even after putting a hand on Bhagavad Gita in the course, not like that. Panchabhutas are Sakshis. So Bhishma Pratigya is famous for it. And Svecha Varadan. Then again, I can link to this is that Pratiphala is another word more used in Bhagavad Gita. Nishkama karma, without expecting anything in return, we should do it. But Bhishma, he did not ask for it. But his father Shantana gave without Bhishma's asking this vara that he can die only when he wants to die, and Yama has no control. This we say exceptional cases. These are not generalized cases, exceptional cases. And I also understand that Dronacharya was of the age 500 years. All of that, Dharvaja, Bhima, this Pandavas, they were like the present pattern only. They were sub-100, they lived sub-100 years only, maybe 70, 80, something like that. That is another side aspect of it. But then, why Krishna had this shake in his, why he lost the Sthita Pragnatva? He does not want to fight with his teacher, Dronacharya, with his grandfather, Bhishmacharya. These are the two important things only what he mentioned. And even there was an enmity between the cousins, Duryodhana and brothers. There is another important factor which you can check for yourself. We have two components. While we dislike a person, our own brother, for example, I can invoke the incident of Pramod Mahajan and his brother. His younger brother, I think, shot dead Pramod Mahajan. And in fact, Pramod Mahajan only got him up in life. But what I can understand is that, to my little understanding, when you exercise a undue control on a fellow human being, either within the family or outside the family, it will flare up, burst up some way, sometime or other. And that thing we can learn from that particular incident. That is why I was again linking to that. In life, we need to be observers. And out of the thousands of observations day in, day out we make, we have to learn certain important things that will be useful for our future life. Trikala Gita I was mentioned. Past everybody knows. Present, whether you are no, whatever is happening is the present, that may or may not be in control. There are two parts of it. Sometimes things happen, you are seeing or you are in a helpless condition. Sometimes you are in a helpful conditions to avoid a mishap taking place. That is also happening in the present. But future, no one knows. At the most, we plan for the future. But future, when it unfolds to present, then only we will come to know what is happening. But there were rishis and munis and the great personalities in the ancient India, where they know that from 10 years from now, 100 years from now, what could happen. So that is another thing. So anyway, Arjuna was shaken. It means that Kshatriya Dharma, they are ruthless when it comes to war. So Dharma is an important thing here. And that time it was according to Varnasrama Dharmas that was mentioned. So when Arjuna was taking a step back, it became all the more necessary the Avatara Purusha Krishna, knowing the past that the Bali, this much of deaths are also needed, he had to motivate and inspire Arjuna to go ahead with the war. So this is the background under which Krishna inspires Arjuna. And when you put a question to yourself within you, do we have Krishna in us or do we have Arjuna in us? They are the form of Nara Narayana. It is expressed that way also. Narayana is human, Narayana is God. And Paramatma, Jivatma, what we are taking, that Paramatma in some form, whatever the little, minutest micro form in each Jivi. One who lives is a Jivi. Jivinche, what is Jivi? A Paramatma is there, like there is a chip embedded in a software or whatever hardware. So that way Paramatma is there. So in us, we as a Nara, we are there anyway, as a Jivi, as a Dehi, but Paramatma also is there in a corner and he will normally not intervene. He will intervene only at times like Krishna intervened with Arjuna. Earlier, he never intervened, only at this point of time in the Kurukshetra Mahasangramam, he intervened and he inspired Arjuna. Have Naranayana, Krishna Arjuna in us only. The question raiser is the Arjuna in us. The satisfying answer teller is the Krishna in us. This is one way. It has got its own limitations of what you call understanding it or implementing it, but still, this is one thing. This is what is in the Vishada Yoga. So when you are, what is Vishada? You are in difficulty, you are in a trouble. When you are in a trouble, you need a troubleshooter, and Krishna took a position, responsible position of a troubleshooter. Troubleshooter means a problem solver. And he makes Arjuna to accept at the end. And one more beautiful thing, that Krishna made only analysis of dharma and everything, and he left the decision to Arjuna, and Krishna never imposed a decision on Arjuna, no, you fight. He never said like that. So this is on the analytical wisdom. With all my wisdom, with all the analysis, I made it. Now it is for you to understand this analysis and make a decision, take a decision, and Arjuna took a decision to do the war. This is broadly the first chapter. Then the second chapter is on Sankhya Yogamu. Sankhya means numeral. Sankhya means knowledge. Partly related to Sankhya. Sankhya we cannot differentiate from the knowledge, because in the knowledge we have only two sets. One is numerals, other is alphabets. That is my interpretation of understanding. All these things only my whatever little observation skills I have, whatever little analytical skills I have, from that I am trying to tell these things. So in the Sankhya Yoga, which is equivalent to Gyana, because Sankhya is also important. Dvaita, Advaita. Advaita means Akhanda, only one. It's a numeral. Dvaita, two, is a numeral. When it is not one, if it is two, it could be anything. Why limit to two? It could be 3,000, 3 crores, 3 million, 3 billion, 3 trillion, 3 quadrillion. It could be anything. Once you cross this one, this is one, numeral wise. Alphabets. In most of the Indian languages, major languages, we have ancient languages, we have this 50 plus alphabets. In Telugu, we have 56. In most of in Hindi also almost similar. In English, we have only 26 alphabets, Western language. And in Spanish, I believe it's still less number of alphabets, around 10, 12, something like that, of that order. Here again, a question. The literary wealth will be more in the language which has more number of alphabets. And in the pronunciation also. In English, the pronunciation will not go alphabet by alphabet. It will go in summary. But if you take any Indian language, Sanskrit particularly, it will spell all the alphabets, alphabet by alphabet in a particular word. So that is the importance of each language. But we use the word business language. So less number of alphabets, more convenient to use. That way it's a business language, contemporary it use. But to relish the beauty of the language, ancient languages like Sanskrit are better. And I always keep advocating that any Indian should have at least the knowledge of 5 languages. Foremost being the universal language Sanskritam. The second one, which is spoken across several countries, English. The third is our Rajbhasha, Desh Bhasha, Indian national language, Sampark Bhasha, otherwise we say Hindi. The fourth is mother tongue. Why I use mother tongue? Many people are unable to speak in their mother tongue. In India, for various reasons, parents' language, mother's language is one, husband's language is another. Initially, they had a difficulty in communication with the same language. Maybe non-verbal communication they had. In course of time, they might have picked one another's language is a different question. Now, child is a dilemma to speak whose language. Ultimately, mother tongue has lost its importance, and many of the people are not having a reasonable literary command over their own mother tongue. That is the reason why I emphasize that we need to have a reasonable level of knowledge in our mother tongue. Then the fifth one I say is that your local language, in whatever region of the world or the country you are residing, that particular local language also you need to know. That is about this Sankhya in a little this thing. And then the third chapter is Karma Yoga. What is karma? And types of karmas. Sakarma, Akarma, Vikarma. These are the three words used in Bhagawad Gita. And this is one form of expression. Then Vihita Karmalu, that karmas to be done. Nishiddha Karmalu, karmas not to be done. Otherwise, in simple language, we say in English, do's and don'ts. That is a karmas division. Then there is one more word, Vidhi Yukta Karmalu. Vidhi means in Hindi, Vidhi means law. In Sanskrit, Vidhi means fate and destiny. What I understand by karma, when I correlate to the, connotate to the present today, this one, any transaction is a karma. What is a transaction? Any activity. I am speaking now for about 1 hour is a transaction. So there is a single transaction and series of transactions, one linked to the other. And the results are also like that. We use the word cause and effect. Cause and effect arise out of these karmas or transactions, whatever name you want to have, you can have. There should be a karma for cause also. And effect also takes place in the form of again a karma, another karma, either a single karma or a sequence or a chain of karmas is another thing. Then karma and jnana, these are the words very beautifully used. We can enjoy reading Bhagavad Gita based on our taste and interest in it. The more number of times you read, the more number of observations, feelings, thoughts you develop in yourself, which makes you a little more better person than what you were before reading the Gita. Before reading it, before understanding it, before analyzing it. Gyana Yogam is another chapter. Karma and Gyana are interlinked according to me. Karma means of doing some work, means includes experience, work, everything. With your work experience, your Gyana increases, number one. When you attend a higher level of Gyana, your way of doing also enhances, your workmanship goes. So they mutually influence one another. That is my interpretation. Gyana and karma are in a way inseparable, depend one on the other, mutually support each other. This is the Gyana and the karma relation. And the fourth chapter is, I may not cover all this one. I will stop exactly at 5:50, and the remaining time, I will take any questions, not that I'm an expert to answer them, but in a conversation thing, whatever you propose or you put it, I can give my own version. That may be a right or not that right, whatever it is. So another 5-6 minutes, I will be closing. So whatever I can complete up to that point of time, I will do it. Right? Okay. Sannyasa yogamu, the prefix is the Gyana karma sannyasa yogamu, but I will tell, simply put as a sannyasa yogamu. What is sannyasa? Dana, tyaga, sannyasa, SDT. Sannyasamu, danamu, tyagamu. They fall in the same group, but there is a difference. Tyagamu means you give up something. Normally in the materialistic world, as a dhira, in the types of heroes in the Natya Shastra, dhiro datta, navarasa, nayikas, there are certain types, qualities, and for nayakas, hero and heroines, what in cinema language, what we say, they have their own qualities. Dhiro datta, dhiro dhata. Udhata means severe. Udatta means little, what you call little sattva. This SRT guna is also there, sattarjo guna, these things. And these are the three gunas are the elements from the nature itself, so we cannot avoid them. They are permanently resident in you. What again? We have two qualities. The first set of qualities which take co-birth along with us. That is the first one. And with the exposure to the world, by listening to a book and reading a person, I am consciously interchanging the words. Listening to a book and reading a person, we acquire certain qualities. A combination of the inherent qualities that you have, which work as basic tools, and the playground from the external these things, what we acquire by observations, put together, that sampurna svabhavamu we acquire. So tyagamu is one thing. Normally, a dhiro dhatta, once you take up, you should never give up. That's what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita also, that you took a decision to fight the war, you signed the resolution, one of the signatories to the, what we say, a resolution that we should go for war with the Kauravas, and how is that you are going back now? Double-minded. Or lack of stability in you. Tyaga is from a different these things, right? I will give up everything. The ability to give up everything is not an easy thing. That is tyagamu. Danamu, when you give dana, there should be a person to receive the other side. That we say dana. And dana we should give wholeheartedly. That is, there are conditions to dana, and apatra dana we should not do. Only patra dana only should do. That is according to the deservingness of the receiver we should do dana. That is the about the qualities, the rules prescribed for dana. That is the thing. Sannyasi is a phase in life, in the, I mean, older years of life, or even younger also. Sannyasi, people we give up this life and be in a sannyasi. But in the modern sannyas, I am not against sannyasis, to be very frank. But the point is that the kind of sannyasis now we have, that they enjoy all the facilities, the modern God gets everything they use. Still they are sannyasis, still we should respect them for the reason that at least they are much better than this, because they have given up their family life and doing some social service. To that extent, at least we need to adore them and respect them. But Tyagi is a different question. The thing which he requires, of which he is conscious that he needs it, he parts with it. That is Tyaga Buddhi. Like Karna gave his Kavacha Kundala to the disguised, to Indra, who comes in a disguised form. Okay, about the Karna's character, there are pros and cons of it. That is a different thing. So I will stop here for the paucity of the time. If situation occasion permits, in the same platform, after some break of time, we can continue with these things. And Bhagavad Gita is such a very deep subject that any number of hours you speak, still you will be getting a new, what you call, new versions of it within us, for the same speaker, for the same reader. And that is why there are innumerable what you call commentaries on the Gita written by many people. So I stopped here, and thank you all for the patient listening, and apologies for any technical glitches were there in this time. Thank you, sir. I am done, Babu Garu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Very interesting talk, very informative, and we are, trying to correlate Bhagavad Gita with the practical life. Now, we will ask the members if they want to ask you any questions. And all are unmuted. Anybody wants to interact with Ram Mohan Garu? In fact, a lot of our students also participated in this.
Good, sir.
Vemuri Subnan Garu. Like to say anything on this? We have Sri Kantam Prahalad Kumar Garu also.
Okay.
We'll request him to talk on this.
I may not be justified in commenting on this because I joined a bit late, more than half an hour after that. Therefore, I am not in a position to judge or comment about the whole thing, but only I want to add 2 words here. One, Sankhya is not just only numbering, it also means, original Sanskrit, it means war. It also means war. Therefore, that war is between the positive and the negative forces within the human psyche. That way, the whole Bhagavad Gita is a commentary on the positive forces and the negative forces are Pandava forces and the Kaurava forces within the body. And the very first sloka of Bhagavad Gita says, Mamakaha Pandavaha. Mamaka it is derived from Mama Kaha. Therefore, he is referring to Dhritarashtra, is referring to his internal psychic forces which are not totally enlightened. Pandava is actually another way of interpreting it is Padi Gatau, and that means Gyana. And therefore, Pandavas symbolize Gyana forces. Therefore, it is a fight between forces of knowledge and forces of ignorance. They are fighting a war in the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, and Dharma Kshetra is the Kshetra of the body, Kurukshetra is the Kshetra of action. That is actually our heart and brain. Therefore, there is a war taking place between the positive and negative forces in the heart and in the mind. Therefore, that is a way of representing all psychological forces within the body as, let us say, interpreted by Aurobindo and Paramahamsa Yogananda. He has been totally as a war between psychological forces within the human mind. That is Sankhya means a war between that. That is one way of interpreting Bhagavad Gita. The other is Dhritarashtra actually means Rashtra is Upadrava. Dhruta is one who is holding that Upadravas to his chest and not giving it up. And Samjaya is Samyak Jayati iti Sanjayaha. One who has actually conquered all his negative forces. Therefore, Dhritarashtra is a samsarika jiva who is perplexed with his own problems and is asking Sanjaya, a guru, Samyak Jaya, who he is a guru, he is asking him what has happened between when the two kinds of forces, positive forces and negative forces, have met with each other, facing a war like situation, the psychology of the human beings, and what happens when they come together face to face with each other. And therefore, that is the way Paramahamsa Yogananda has interpreted the first sloka of Bhagavad Gita. And this is the way some other Aurobindo has also interpreted Bhagavad Gita like that. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is not just a description of the war that is taking place in the Kurukshetra historical side. That is also a part of history, but actually in the name of history, they have given us a real warfare that is going on within the psyche of the human beings. And then the Sankhya, as it means, and Sannyasa, it is not just giving up family life and going away and taking to, let us say, family life, getting rid of family life and children and family, etc. But Samnyasa is actually, original word is Samyak Nyasa. Samnyasa, Samyak Nyasa. Nyasa means keeping things in a particular place where they have to be placed properly. That is, whatever things you have to place in your brain and mind and heart and human body itself, you have to keep all those things in their proper places, not just running away from family life. And in original or Ramayana or Mahabharata and all other Puranas, there are no real people who have run away from family. Even all the gurus like Saptarshis and every one of the Rishis, gurus of Pandavas or Kauravas and even Kakutsas, Ramayana, everywhere, they have gurus. They are all family people with wife and children. Vasishtha had son who was a classmate of Rama. He is known as Suyagnya. That is the reference given by Rama when he is about to go to forest. He calls Lakshmana and says, get our guru's son, Suyagnya, and let us give away all our wealth to that Suyagnya and then leave for forest. Therefore, this Vasishtha is different from the Vasishtha. Vasishtha had 3 lives, and all the Gotrodbhavas of Vasishtha, they are called Vasishthas. Therefore, Vasishtha of Ramayana is different from Vasishtha of Vishwamitra Vasishtha, and Vasishtha, who is the son of mind-born son of Chaturmukha Brahma, and who is also Vasishtha, Maitra Varuna Vasishtha, Rigveda. Therefore, there are so many Vasishthas who are different from this. Therefore, none of them are sannyasis, none of them have run away from family life. They were all they were doing controlled tapasya, and they had mental or experiential knowledge which is beyond mind and beyond walk. Therefore, aprapya manasa vacha, that is the knowledge they have gained through tapas. Therefore, they are fit to convey the tapas and knowledge to other people. Krishna was Yogishwareshwara. Therefore, he has mastered all these techniques, and he is one of the, also called Purnavatara. Even compared to Rama, Parshurama and other things, he has obtained totally things. Whereas Rama he is a Dharmo Vigrahavan Ramaha. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. That means he was following whatever dharma that was defined, ordained of his age. Therefore, Rama never crossed or never moved away from dharma which was defined in his age. Whereas Krishna started defining his own dharma, and he was called, even though he made even Dharmaraja Bhima utter lies in the war, and Vasudeva asks him, I know that you have never lied and you have never uttered a lie. Therefore, you tell me what has happened. And Krishna defines it as Sarva Bhuta Hitakaram Satyam. That which gets good things done to all the people, large number of people, that is Satya, that is Dharma. Not just uttering the real truth is not Dharma. Therefore, Krishna was actually defining a new Dharma Shastra of his age. And unfortunately, Bhishma, Drona, they are all supposed to have lived very long because of the curse of the Vasishtha to Dyunamaka Vasu, who was born as Bhishma. He had to live the life of all the 7 other Vasus. Therefore, he lived for 800 years. Out of that 800 years, he spent 500 years in Svargaloka learning from Brihaspati. He was a student of Brihaspati for 500 years. Therefore, on the earth, he lived for only 300 years. And his age, according to that, at that time, at the time of Mahabharata war, he was 180 years old. And Pandavas, Krishna, they were all about 90 years. Dharmaja was 2 years senior. Bhima was 1 year senior. Arjuna and Krishna they were differing by only 6 months. And these are the ages of these people. And Krishna was 90-year-old at the time of Mahabharata war. And he lived for another 36 years. And therefore, at the time of his departure from Bhuloka, he was 126 years old. That is the definition given in many of the Puranas. Therefore, he has defined that way. Therefore, he has, and again, he said, Dharma Samsthapanartham Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. But his own generation, his own Yadava people, they broke all the dharmas. They went on drinking alcohol, doing so many things. And started a internecine war, and they all of them got destroyed. And even in the last war of Yadava's Kshaya, Krishna himself killed all the remaining people using his own ayudas. Therefore, it is not that Krishna he was totally peaceful or totally like that. He actually destroyed people, and not only that, he removed all the remaining Rakshasas, Vanaras, who were leftover people from Ramayana. Mainda, Vivida, they were the Ashwini Devata Samshas who lived in the Dwapar Yuga also. They were killed by Balarama and Krishna. And also, in some, according to some other Purana, Krishna killed Jambavan also. And only man who remained alive after all that is only Anjaneya. Therefore, these are all people who are left over from those earlier periods, and all the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, all the people, Nagas, and all those people who are born. This is Amshavatara Parva of Mahabharata tells us who are the people who were born as kings and other things in Mahabharata. All of them were killed in Mahabharata, and normal human beings were left to fend for themselves, take care of themselves, and teach. And one question is asked by Rishis. When all these Rishis are going away to Svargaloka, who will be our teacher? Then he says, logic, Tarka is your guide. Tarka is your guide. And the lives of all great men remind us that we too can make our lives sublime. And the departing ones have left behind them their footprints in the sands of time. That is the way. And this is the same thing uttered by Dharmaraja also. Yadyadacharti Sreshtaha, that is also given in Mahabharata. And Ena Patha Santa Gachanti, Te Margaha antadu. Andwala, in this way, we don't have to, and even Bhagavad Gita itself is a compendium of teachings from many of the Upanishads, even though it is not a complete, let us say, summary of all the Upanishads. There are about 30 Upanishads dealing with Vedanta, another 20 dealing with Yoga, another 20 dealing with Shakta Upasana and Shaiva Upasana and Vaishnava Upasana. Vedanta, there are about 30 Upanishads. There are totally about 212 Upanishads are there. And of these 212, our Acharyas have commented only on the 10 Upanishads each. And they don't agree with each other. Therefore, there is a lot of conflict between the interpretations placed on Prasthanatraya itself. Brahma Sutra Bhashya or Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads. They don't concur with each other. Even after Shankaracharya, there have been 7 commentaries written on Brahma Sutras by Chaitanya and Vallabhacharya and Nimbarkacharya and so many other acharyas. Therefore, there is no final, and we cannot say that this is the final interpretation of Brahma Sutras. Similarly, even about Chandogya and Aitareya Upanishads also, they have not taken same chapters for commenting. And even Chandogya also, the last chapters have not been commented by any one of the acharyas, where it clearly, some parts are so, let us say, worldly, in that if you want a son who can practice Rigveda, he can become a Veda Acharya, you have to prepare a dish like this, and husband and wife to have eat that to get a Vedic Pandit. And if you want a Kshatriya Raja king, you have to eat the meat of a well-grown Vrishabha, and then you will get a king-like, emperor-like qualities in your son. Therefore, this is not, all our acharyas also have not commented about every Prapataka of Upanishads. They have left out so many things in Aitareya and Chandogya also. Aitareya Brahmana itself describes 12 Indra Mahabhishekas. No, they have not commented about that. Therefore, even Sunashya Murtanta in Aitareya Brahmana, they have taken, others have taken it as an example of human sacrifice. That is not the real thing. It has to be interpreted in terms of the so many other clues given in Mahabharata itself. And Neelakantiya Dikshita gives a Vyakhyana saying that it is actually Vritrasura is ignorance, Vajrayudha is Viveka, and Indra is the mind. Therefore, mind has to employ Viveka to destroy the demon of ignorance. That is the interpretation that has been given by Neelakanta Dikshita and Mahabharata slokas. Therefore, all these things, even there are so many things, Balivasa Samvada, which actually deals with the rising of sun in east, south, north, and west. That belongs to a totally different age. Therefore, so many astronomical secrets, cosmological secrets are there in our Mahabharata and Ramayana, and that our Bhagavad Gita itself has been interpreted in terms of Karma Yoga by Tilak and by others in terms of some other knowledge yoga. Therefore, Aurobindo has described it purely in a psychological sense, and others have described it in terms of Adhyagnika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adi the top Bhautika Shirya. Therefore, and then Tandi Mahamuni Stotra of Rudra, he clearly says every one of the slokas can be interpreted in terms of Adi Pausha, Adi Vijnana, Adi Loka, Adi Jyotisha, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika. Therefore, there can be a minimum of 7 interpretations of every one of the shloka in Mahabharata, particularly Bhagavad Gita, as you have said, or Ram Mohan Garu has said, it is actually beyond our capacity to understand most of the shlokas. Not only that, simple philosophical interpretation is so many, around 30 Vyakhyanas are there, which gives a purely philosophical interpretation, but that also deals with so many other aspects of human life, human psyche, and human body itself. Yatha Brahmande, Tata Pindande. Therefore, that interpretation has to take place in 3 levels of human body, 3 levels of higher levels. This is your what we call it: Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka, and beyond that is our moksha. That is how we can interpret every one of the shlokas of Mahabharata, particularly Bhagavad Gita. This is my small summary, even though I have not listened to the beginning part of that. From the 3 words I heard in the last phase, I am trying to contribute a little to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the resume what you have given in a very detailed manner. Thank you very much for the extempore talk. And let us request any other speaker, like somebody raised the hand. Okay. VSS Murthy garu, Aisha Murthy garu, would you like to say anything on this? Else what we do is that we will request Vishalashi Mahodaya to give concluding speech, and then we will do Prarthana and Janaganamata.
Sabhayai Namaha. Today we got a very useful and wonderful lecture from our Sri Ram Mohan Garu, and also very wonderful, excellent second opinion also, in fact, as of our Prahlad Garu. He also gave very beautiful ideas regarding Mahabharata. Our Sri Ram Mohan Garu spoke excellently about his own ideas, what all he thought about the that is the essence of either first, second, third, like that, all 18 chapters and all the words which are used in Bhagavad Gita. He got his own interpretation according to his knowledge and his way of thinking. So that is excellent. Whatever is there in that, just to speak about the gist is one thing, but to interpret with our intelligence, with our way of thinking, innovative ideas and giving personal opinions, that is really, that shows the knowledge and erudition, the scholarliness and input of that subject. So we are very thankful to you, sir, for your such wonderful lecture today. And all the explanation you have given is very useful regarding Sankhya or whatever may be. You have given your ideas, that is praiseworthy. And regarding Sannyasa, Dana, and then Karma, Gyana, etc., you have given. In fact, yes, correct, as you have said, Dana is different from Tyaga. And in fact, Sannyasa is also, Dana is giving charity. If we have something, to give something out of what we possess is Dana. But Tyaga is very good. Tyaga says, Tyage Naikena Amritatva Manasuhu, says Upanishads. Tyaga is giving away what all we are having, and we need that very much for our survival or for our whatever may it be. We need that. Even then, if that is essential for some other person, if we completely, wholeheartedly, willingly offer that, that is called a Tyaga. So Tyaga is always greater than Dana. Then Sannyasa, as all other learned scholars said, Sannyasa is also not just wearing the that is orange or that is taking sannyasa, that is in the sense of just leaving grihasthasrama and leading a sort of ascetic life. But is sannyasa is karma sannyasa, manasika sannyasa. Though just as Janaka Maharaja, while staying amidst the society with all the trigunas, with all the feelings, with all objects in front of us, we should be able to control our mind first. So sense organs and controlling the mind and senses, that is real sannyasa. Keep samyak nyasa is sannyasa, keeping properly where in Paramatma. So keeping our mind and heart and everything thinking in Paramatma is real sannyasa. So today we are thankful to you, sir, for giving such beautiful lecture on Gita. By this, just I want to start our prayer of conclusion. Shall I do?
Yeah, thank you. Dhanyavadamalandi. Please do Prarthana, then we will do Janaganamana.
Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Swasti.
Okay. Thank you. Dhanyavadamalandi. Now we'll finally thank Ram Mohan Garu for sparing his time and giving us his ideas on Bhagavad Gita and practical life. On behalf of all members of the Veda Samskruti Samiti and the people who have participated in this, let us thank him. Now let us have a Janaganamana. Request everybody to stand up and then sing Janaganamana. Janaganamana adhinayaka jaya he Bharata bhagya vikhata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha
Dravida Utkala Vanga
India Himachala Yamuna Ganga
Ganga Uchala Jalatitaranga
Subhanami Jage
Ge Gahe Tava Jaya Gatha
Jahe Tava Jaya Gatha Jana Gana Mangala Dayaka Jaya He
Jai Bharat
Bhagya Vidhata Jaya He Jaya He
Jaya He Jaya He
Jaya
Jaya He
Jai Hind. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you for the nice lecture. Now I'll stop this.